Good morning, Arjun. Thanks for joining. Lisa and I were just finalising the scope of the Phoenix project for the new power management module.
Yes, this module is critical for achieving our clients' efficiency targets, directly impacting our market value in the next quarter. This needs to be done by Q3, and that is a firm deadline.
Arjun, your primary responsibility will be to initial the firmware development for the battery charge module. What support do you anticipate that you might need? Please don't hesitate to ask for support, like peer support, training.
I think I've got it. So I just make the firmware for the charge controller. Yeah, I can get right into the coding for that. I'll make it perfect.
Perfect is wonderful, Arjun, but sometimes at this stage, good enough will suffice. We need to prioritize and focus on delivery and making a minimal viable product that integrates seamlessly with our systems. Your work directly contributes to our product's commercial value.
Okay, got it. So just deliver it, get it working.
Yes.
Arjun, are you do you know who you need to coordinate with? Are you entirely sure who owns the final integration testing? Lisa, can you clarify the handover points for Arjun?
Yes. The integration will be managed by Systems Integration, which is led by Mark. I'll set up a handover meeting next week. I think we've all got a availability like Wednesday. Your focus will be strictly on the controller's logic and stability. We also need to keep an eye out on the power consumption targets as they tie directly into the overall marketing strategy. So if we could, we'll go over that next week with you.
Okay. Got it. So I'll just make the best firmware possible.
Arjun, thanks for putting together this initial architecture for the API. Can you walk us through the security protocols that you've implemented for external data calls?
Sure. So I've used the standard secure socket protocol for all of our external communications. It uses encrypted data transfer at all times.
Arjun, just to confirm, we specifically outlined that secure socket is being scrapped for all external facing APIs due to recently discovered vulnerabilities. We're supposed to be using AutoShield for this project, remember?
Yeah, AutoShield. Yeah. I've only used secure socket as a placeholder, temporary placeholder. The next step is to use AutoShield.
Arjun, it's critical we operate with the correct information and understanding when it comes to security protocols in particular. Did you review the updated documentation on preferred protocols for the new API development? This was circulated last week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I looked at it, and I thought secure socket was still acceptable for the initial drafts.
Well, if there's any uncertainty about security protocols, it's always best to double check. Even a small vulnerability could risk our entire project collapsing, and a silly question can prevent that, or a major rework, God forbid. We want to ensure that all information is correct and up to date, especially when it comes to security.
Right, I understand.
Let's pause here, Arjun. Let's take some time to review the AutoShield documentation thoroughly. We need to communicate explicitly and proactively with our stakeholders before making a decision.
So this is our problem.
So the memory stall issue has now been understood, Miss. Now let's take some time to brainstorm solutions. Sarah's team has proposed a complete re-architecture of the memory allocation, which is a major undertaking.
That is an interesting perspective. It would solve the issue at hand, but it would be a massive scope change. Arjun, what are your thoughts? You've been working closely on this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big change. I've been thinking about this, and I found some other alternative libraries that we could use which provide a more efficient garbage collection algorithm, reducing the stalls without a full re-architecture. It is a bit of a smaller change, but I think it addresses the root cause directly that we have here. I've also spoken with Sarah, and she's also mentioned that her team is completely swamped, so I think going with a light solution is probably the way to go.
That's great, Arjun. You considered Sarah's team's constraints and found a solution that benefits everyone. That's excellent collaboration.
Yeah, Arjun, are these libraries compatible with our existing framework? And what would be the testing implications of implementing new libraries?
Good question. I've already done some compatibility checks just to kind of see what's going on, and they look pretty promising. I can also help Sarah's team with the initial integration tests. And if they're willing to try this new approach, then yeah, we can go ahead with it. But yeah, my only concern right now is we don't want to become a knowledge bottleneck over here.
That's a very proactive offer. Let's ensure everyone has a chance to contribute to this discussion. I'd like to hear from those who haven't contributed yet. Arjun, your proactive research and willingness to initiate support for colleagues is exactly what we need.
Thank you, David. Yeah, I'm happy to take lead on this and get to work on testing the new library.
Arjun, let's discuss the minor bug that slipped into our last release. It was quickly patched, but it did cause some initial user friction. What are your thoughts on this? What could we do differently next time?
Well, I wouldn't really say it's my fault. The test coverage for that specific case was very low. Let's really not make a big deal about this. I think it was only a small bug, and the main thing is it's fixed now.
Arjun, every bug, no matter how small, is a learning opportunity. We need to analyze our failures in order to prevent this from happening again. We need to develop strategies for continuous improvements and change our workflow to mitigate mistakes. It's not about blame, it's about learning.
I mean, I accepted the feedback and I've moved on. I really don't see why we have to dig really deep into this. I know more than enough about this stuff to kind of get by, you know?
Arjun, we need to understand why it happened, not just that it happened. This isn't a punitive process. It's about refining our processes. How could I support you in analysing this further? Perhaps a deeper dive into static analysis tools?
I don't really dive too deep into this specific field. I just kind of come in, do the work, and then go home. I really don't see why we need to change the way we do things now.
We've discussed that embracing workflow modifications and continuous learning is essential to staying relevant. If we don't learn from our mistakes, we are risking our growth. And this is not about criticizing. This is about not repeating the same mistake over and over and over again. This is important, Arjun.